You don't set your sights on something that is adding incredible value to people unless you really have an idea of the people that you want to have as your customers.
It's okay to stand up and clap on it. You forgot how good it was, didn't you?
T-shirt, new shoes, and I don't know where I'm going to. Silk suit, black tie, I don't need a reason why. They come running as they can. 'Cause every girl crazy about a short dress man.
Isn't that great, Judy? Thank you, brother. Yeah, we're going to have some fun. We are going to have some fun. We are. Are you? We're already having fun, aren't we? Now, I'm going to give you some depressing information, and then we're going to get better, okay? You see this number? This number is the number of times that we are pounded on every single day with some brilliant marketer's message. Now, real important. What's the most important number there? That was from 12 years ago. How many of you think maybe it's gone up a little bit since then? We're talking about everything under the sun. Radio, television, magazines, emails, streaming video, social media, everything. How many of you are, let me ask you this. How many of you are going to buy a car this week? I mean, you're going to go out this week. You've already decided you're going to get a car. By show of hands, come on, come on, come on, all right? 1 or 2, 3? Man, I need to get my lead engine going, send it to some dealerships around here. How many ads are you going to see here and be exposed to buy a car? Deaf ears, crickets, because 98.6 ain't just your temperature. That's the percentage that are irrelevant and ignored. That's the ones that are deleted. That's the ones that when the ad comes on, you check your phone. Are you hearing me? How do you get out of that 98.6 and get up into that 1% and cut through all of that noise? Cut through the clutter. Get your message into the 1%. That's what we have to look at today. It's by copywriting. Not copyright like in a book, but the writing, the messaging. Why is copywriting important? Because copywriting has one single intent. Do you know what it is? What's the intent? Anybody? To get a response. In fact, I'm going to tell you the only 2 words, or 3 words rather, the only 3 words that you ever have to be trying to get a prospect or customer or anybody else to say when you're writing. These 3 words will take all the pressure off. Would you like to know what they are?
Tell me more.
Tell me more. You've been in my class. It's tell me more. It's tell me more. That's all I want to hear. Tell me more. What does that mean? Tell me more means I click. I open it. I read. I click again. I go to the side. I say, tell me more. I opt in. I go to the next page. Really, tell me more. Tell me more is what starts the relationship. And that's what marketing really is all about. Rook, I love the guy. I've just met him. But he pounded on that the first day. Marketing is relationships. And that's what we're all about. So your copywriting is what opens the door for that. Now, here's the problem. Big problem. That kid. How many of you have a kid like that as a client? Huh? Right? The whiners, the complainers, the tire kickers, the ones nothing you do can work. Even when you turn yourself into a pretzel, your staff is pulling their hair out, you do everything possible, they say, well, you know, they should have done it right the first time. Who needs them? Why do you have them? Anybody? Why do you get these people? How do they find you? What happened? How do they do? Why? Because your copywriting sucks. I don't think I ever said that from the stage. But that's why. Your copywriting is attracting these people. Now, the law of attraction, as Bernie clearly pointed out, there's a lever. I'm going to give you a little different perspective. There's an equal and reciprocal law to the law of attraction. It's an equal and opposite law. Do you know what it is? It's the law of repulsion. We have to be good at repelling those people. We have to be really, really good at repelling those people. Now, let me just, here. I'm going to ask a couple of you something here, okay? What's your business? Oh, wait a minute. Your seat. Oh, no, let me do it.
Training and information.
All right, and who's your market?
Business owners.
How about you?
Insurance sales,
Okay, and who's your market?
qualified candidates.
Okay. All right, let's try one more here. Yeah, I'll just,
Business coaching,
okay, and who's your market?
business owners.
Well, none of you said one of these three words, but each one of you implied those three words. Did you all hear that? These three words, write them down, and then put a big line through them. They don't exist for marketers. There is no market that is anyone, everyone, or whoever. Coca-Cola. How many of you drink Coke? How many of you drink Pepsi? How many of you won't drink either one? No company has anyone, everyone, or whoever. But when I read marketing, when I read sales pages, emails, and everything else, they're trying to hit all those hot buttons, all those pain points, all the stuff, trying to get as many in as we can. That is why we get the screaming kids, the ones that drive us nuts and make our lives miserable. So, here's the game changer, okay? I want you to stop thinking so much about who you want and start thinking about who you don't want. The better I get, the better we get at learning to eliminate the people we don't want, a magical thing happens. The people we do want start to respond more because we're speaking to them in a way that resonates. And they begin to feel like you are reading their diary, like you know them better than they know themselves, and they're ready. They say, tell me more. Tell me more. All right, let's move along. Pareto principle, everybody's aware of it, right? 80-20 rule, 2 or 3 people talked about it. Tom Beal on the Marketer's Cruise 2 or 3 years ago totally blew the minds of a lot of the people on marketing. 450 people by really drilling down for about 30 minutes on that one topic. Now, Bernie mentioned it, other people have mentioned it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it except to say this. We spend 80% of our time over there on the far right working with the people who give us 20% of our response, our results, our money, our whatever. We, as marketers, have to learn to turn that curve around. And the way that we do it is not by saying, well, Emerson, every year in my business, I basically fire 10, 20% of my customers. I fire them. It's like, why did you hire them in the first place? Get your marketing straight, get that curve changed. Now, what happens when you start spending 80% of your time on the people who are giving you 80% of your results? What will that do to your business? What will that do? It'll explode. But there's a bigger problem than this. Our strategy. Einstein is credited with saying if he had 1 hour to solve the world's greatest problem, he would spend the first 40 minutes thinking. When I go into companies, and I've worked with, as I'll show you, I've worked with companies of all sizes. When I go into companies or I'm working with entrepreneurs, inevitably, the attitude is, we've got the strategy, man. We know what we're doing. We need the application. Instead of saying, step back. We need to drill down on the strategy. I don't care. Originally made a great point. You go to a JV, it's not about what you sell, right? Originally, 10 years ago, at a mastermind was sharing the concept of why. Now, that's become a big thing, but I went up to him then, I said, that's my attitude about marketing. I need to know their why. If you know their why, they will buy. Whose why? It doesn't matter until I know why. I need to know why before I even figure out who. That sounds backwards, doesn't it? By the way, the why is two different parts. Your why, we'll go back. Your why is what gives you vision. Their why is your value. Without knowing their why, you have no value. As a human being, maybe you do, but as a business, you don't. Are you with me? Are you getting this? Does this make sense? Does this rattle your brain a little bit? Okay. Now, my problem is this. Here's most people's strategy. Now, there's sound effects that were supposed to go with this, but they didn't convert over. So you all can mentally go, blah, 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 okay? So, we need to get some Facebook ads going. Holy Toledo, man, streaming video. We need to get on that. We need to start sending stuff out by email. More emails. That's what we need, just more emails. No. Let's go old school. Let's get some newspaper ads. No, newspaper. No, newspaper. Nobody's reading that. How about TV, radio? Oh, yeah. How about that? Oh, those solo ads are so cool. We need to get a great JV going. That's our new strategy. We're going to go with JVs. Oh, no. They get half the money. We shouldn't do it with half the money. And on and on and on and on. How many of you know somebody who maybe has a strategy sort of like that or think they do? Come on, by show of hand. All right, how many of you are going to be honest enough and say, Emerson, that kind of looks like mine? Huh? Oh, come on. Okay, all right. How many of you are saying, I plead the fifth? That isn't strategy. I named a whole bunch of what? Tactics. Strategy comes before tactics. Write it down. Strategy before tactics. Emerson, I thought this was about copywriting. Yeah. Copywriting is a strategy and a tactic. I call it the strategic tactic. But until you have your strategy clear, you know their why, and you begin to identify who you don't want, don't sit down and try to write out copy. Now, on the other side of that, don't wait until 5 minutes before it goes and you've put out every fire and you've done everything you could to avoid it and you hammer out an email because it's got to go out. Don't do that either. What we have to do is get strategic, know who we don't want, know who we do want, know why they're going to buy, and then we know exactly the message that's going to reach directly to them and is going to make them say, yes. Tell me more. Tell me more. Okay. I'm going to share a couple of videos. so that I want some other words than mine to be describing what I'm talking about here. There's only 2 or 3 in the whole presentation, but I want you to hear Edwin, at the time, was the director of new business for the largest trust company in the country, $30 billion in assets.
Hi, Edwin Kelly from Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm with an organization called Equity Trust Company. We're the largest self-directed IRA custodian in the country. And I'd like to share a little bit about my experience with Emerson Brantley with you. I've known Emerson for a few years now, and Emerson is my go-to guy when it comes to marketing, sales, and business strategy.
Now listen to the next.
I'll give you a couple reasons why. One is that he has the ability to look at things at a very high level, at a 50,000-foot view.
That's your strategy.
And yet he can take those same concepts and ideas and strategies and distill them down into actionable, executable items.
Those are your tactics.
And the ability to look at things from a high level and also be able to execute, that is very rare. Second thing, Emerson has come up with some of the most elegant solutions that I've, quite frankly, ever seen. I mean, it's out of the box, and yet the minute you hear it, you know it's deadly effective. And so if you have an organization, if you've got a business, if you're interested in growing your business, making a bigger impact, creating a market or a movement, then my advice would be talk to Emerson, have the conversation, and see what he can do for you.
The reason you can have elegant solutions that are deadly effective is because you step back, really start thinking about your overall strategy. Clarity, how many people have said clarity today, right? Being clear, getting crystal clear. In 4 or 5 questions, I can tell with most people, Peter, am I right? They have no real clarity, right? And they may be really excited. And they don't have any real clarity. Have clarity before you go, oh, God, I forgot she was in this. Linda Clements, I don't know how many know her, brilliant woman, superstar sales coach and the founder of the National Association of African American Entrepreneurs. Listen.
Hi, I just met a dynamic, great man who is authentic, sincere, giving, but most important, the time I spent with Emerson, he knows his craft. Now, here's what I want to tell you right now. If you're out there, you've got a business, a service, or a product, or you have a talent or skill, it doesn't matter what it is. No one will know anything about it if you don't have a great marketing plan. And if you want to get your message, your vision, your passion out there, Emerson is the one you want to talk to. I've got to tell you, the last 4 days that I spent with this gentleman, priceless. Emerson, thank you.
That was craft, C-R-A-F-T. Now, she said marketing plan, but we're saying the same thing. Has everybody got this? All right, let's move on. It's fair to ask, who is this guy? Well, how do I know come on. May I have a couple of minutes to share this? And then I'm going to give you 2 or 3 examples to show you that I'm not talking theory or what I think or what I read. So, first of all, I've worked with all sorts of companies. Everything from Fortune 100 companies, airlines, manufacturers, Disney's Epcot Center, negotiations and things with Walmart and national nonprofits, American Forest, the oldest nonprofit citizens and conservation group in the country. I'm on the board of directors of the United States Green Chamber today. Colleges, universities, Forbes, School of Business, publications, Millionaire Magazine. Had my own books published. One was number 5 on the Wall Street Journal bestseller list for 11 weeks on their business book list, international. Ministers of Tourism, this is a fun one, from 34 Caribbean nations. 100 million in testing, 8,600 campaigns, as Tom, thank you, so graciously pointed out. How many of you would agree, probably for anything you encounter in your marketing, I probably have been there and done that? Yes? Is that right? Okay. Now I want you to collectively say, So what? As loud as you can. Come on. So what? Ah, very good question. I'm not a Fortune 100 company. I'm not a this, I'm not a that. So what? Well, J. Conrad Levinson received Lifetime Achievement Award. Remember that, Jeannie? And I the same night with him, I received Marketer of the Year. But it's not about me. And it's not about Jay. It's about the fact that you and I can change lives. If we get our act together, we can have a profound influence. You can have a profound influence. Do you believe that? This can change your world. I'm not going to give you theory. I'm going to give you facts. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of case histories so that you can see in actual practice some of this and see some of the numbers, because you deserve to know who's giving you advice. Free advice is worth what? What you pay for it.
You've given free advice and it's made me a lot of money. Sorry. Take that.
Yeah, but I made you buy me a drink at the bar. John and Greg Rice were the world's smallest twins. John is no longer with us. Tom mentioned the infomercial. How many of you maybe saw this infomercial at one time or another?
Cash flow generator way of making money with real estate work where I live. Let us ask you this. Do people in your area ever get divorced? Do they ever lose their job? For whatever reason.
They're an
Do people in
amazing,
your area
amazing team. I traveled with them. That became the longest running lead generating infomercial ever made. It actually was the only asset, that and the 250,000 name list that we built from it, the only asset when the company finally collapsed under greed and avarice, okay, it was the only asset the company had that they even were able to sell to anybody. And Russ Whitney bought it and continued to run it for a number of years. Yes, 2 Inc. 500 listings, 1,500%. Now, people get on the stage and throw out lots of numbers. I always question them. Do you? Come on, do you? You should. We should. How many of you know that if you have something like an Inc. award, they actually audit what you've done? 1,500% growth is what created that. Now, who in here is a math major or really good with numbers? Anybody? Peter, 1,500% is about what month over month? 1,500% is 50% to 100% growth. Every single month. You hear that? Month over month, and we did that for 36 months. The infomercial drove it. I had to fight to get the company to even do the infomercial. But the infomercial ended up creating that kind of growth. Okay, Emerson, I'm not doing an infomercial, okay? That's come on, you're talking, this is like I do this is that. Okay, how about email? Well, what about an email campaign? Ridgely was talking about numbers. You need to have some numbers. You need to have some testing. I can't tell you the number of times, and Ridgely, maybe you can back me up on this. People come back, oh man, here's our numbers. And you ask this question, really, how many did you send out? Oh, really? Gee, those are great numbers. Well, maybe we'll give it a test, right? $10.50. Originally, if somebody comes to you or one of the A-list marketers and says, I have a campaign, I have valid numbers here, here's my results, we're making over $1 earnings per click, would they have attention? That's pretty much the threshold. Anybody else in here do JVs? I talked to Russell, Brunson, Ryan, any of them. They say, look, I'll look at anything if it's over $1 earnings per click. This had 10 times that. In fact, we were making $2 an email. How many emails would you send out if you knew you're going to make $2 every single time? You'd beg, borrow, and steal everyone you could, wouldn't you? Now, Emerson, that's great, but you just said question the numbers. Look at the most important number underneath that. 800,000 emails. That is statistically to the bank. It was done for a fellow by the name of John Asroff. How many of you know John? Right? This is how this particular campaign looked. 4 walls, he liked to print everything out, of emails and funnels and scripts.
Well, he's the secret guy.
Shh. It's a secret. They're actually on that one campaign, 10 funnels, 92 emails, 5 video scripts, and a webinar script that I put together for John. And I couldn't help laughing, Ridgely, when you were talking about the bank crashing and all the stuff, the things that happened. You know, that's the kind of stuff that happens. Listen to what happened on this one. If I were to tell you this, you wouldn't believe it. You'd say, that's it. I'm done with this event. I'm out of here. This guy is so full of it. Listen.
Hey, this is John Assaraf, and you may know me from one of my New York Times best-selling books or from the hit movie The Secret. Now, I've had the privilege of working with Emerson Brantley for probably about 7 months now, and he's been creating some amazing strategies for us to sell our products and our services. He's created the copy, the strategy, and more importantly, he's tweaked it to the point where our servers have been crashing on some of our campaigns. I love working with him. He's got integrity, he knows his marketing inside and out, and more importantly, he has the work ethic that I love to see, which is rare in people, which means they do what it takes. He really loves what he does, and he gets the job done, and he's there for you, and he sticks with you, and that has produced phenomenal results for me and my company, Praxis Now.
Did you hear what he said? We crashed the servers. By the way, we did it on 4 different campaigns. He's got great servers now. I want you to be prepared. When I saw the picture of the person, was it you originally, or was it Bernie, had the picture of the person in overwhelm? Remember there was a slide earlier? I want you to be prepared. Because when you do the things I'm telling you that will make the difference, you can overwhelm your systems. We only know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. If we've never experienced it, we have to trust somebody who has experienced it to guide us. Does that make sense? Don't assume that you have a business that is so controllable that you can just measure little growth and go forward, and nothing that you do is going to change that dramatically, because it can change just that fast. Am I right, Peter? Just that fast. Okay, what about social media? We do a lot of Facebook, do a lot of LinkedIn. What about social? Are you having a good success with social? Have you ever done anything? I love when people come up to me, so what kind of marketing do you do? Do you like direct mail, maybe? Yeah, I've done, 100 million pieces of direct mail. I don't know. Social media. Here's a campaign case study. 39% opt-in, 68% converted from cold Facebook leads. What do you mean cold leads? I mean leads that had never heard of the person, the product, or the service before. Folks, I'm not sharing this with you. I'm not sharing these numbers. It was for a gal by the name of Deb Erickson with the eye. She was known as the Rut Buster. I'm not sharing these with you for me. Go ahead. So what? Exactly. I'm sharing this with you so that you understand that, okay, we'll just leave it. So that you understand, there we go. I want you to understand, it doesn't matter, it does not matter what it is that you're selling. You can see I've done it in over 1,000 different industries and markets. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It doesn't matter the price points. It doesn't matter how you choose to channel, where your market is, if it's B2B, if it's B2C. None of those things matter. They're irrelevant. What matters is, do you have clarity on your strategy? Do you know why they're going to buy? And by the way, let me just sidebar. Business to business, you have 2 markets. You have a gatekeeper, right? Am I right? Professionals and industries. When you write your copy, you have to address the gatekeeper's why as well. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute, what do you mean? Yeah, because that's a human being and they have a task and their importance and their value is surrounded by them. When they come in, they are protecting that person from you. I have to be able to speak to him or her so that they have dignity and feel that they are doing something right. By the way, in public relations, PR publicity, it's the same thing. You've got to get past the blog post owner, the newspaper editor, the TV news director. If you don't, it's never going to show up, is it? It'll be what? Crickets. Right? So, let's turn this back on. Let's roll through the rest, because here's the so what's. What's in it for me? You got it. I'm going to give you one last little example because this is about as down home as I can get. A good friend of mine called me up. He said, Emerson, have you ever worked with hardware stores? That's another question like, oh, have you ever done retail? Because, you know, retail is totally different than manufacturing. These are all excuses we tell ourselves. Shut down the noise. Listen. Hear me. You have the ability and the knowledge inside of you to do everything I'm telling you. Little hardware store, 4,000 population town. I said, yeah, I can work with them. Turned out there were 3 little 4,000 population towns. They each had 2 hardware stores. Hardware stores were 50 to 100 years old. This young couple had bought one. They had had it for 4 years. Nice little couple, David and Tammy. Guess what happened 4 years after they bought it? Yeah, Lowe's. Lowe's moved right between the 3 little towns. What happened to the hardware stores? Big box comes in. What happens to local business? Right? Boom, 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 boom. Till there was only one left. Dave and Tammy's. And they were about to go out of business. They couldn't cut their prices anymore. They were considering which one of the employees that had been there 20, 30 years that they would start letting go first. They were torn up inside. It was affecting their health and their marriage. I sat down with them, and the very first thing I said, we're working strategy now. Before the copy, before the message, before some great campaign in order to blow up the world, I said, Dave, Tammy, I want you to get this. I said, listen, Lowe's cannot compete with you. He said, but you don't understand. They have bulk buying and they have that. I said, I'm going to say it one more time, and then we're not going to talk about this anymore. Lowe's cannot compete with you. Guerrilla marketing. Okay, you got that? They said, okay, all right. So what do we do? I said, first of all, you raise your prices. Average, I want it to be 20% across the board. We can't. I said, 20% across the board. And then we created a lot of guerrilla campaigns that Jay would have just loved. Because Joe in plumbing isn't going to try to sell you, man. Hey, son, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a coon's age. Man, how's your daddy? Is your granddaddy doing better? I heard he had been sick. Boy, I remember when I was a kid, he used to work here. It's like, they're not going to sell you anything. So we gave them little cards in their pocket that said, nobody wants to come to a store 3 times for the same project. Here's a checklist. Ask me if you need any help. And they could just hand it to somebody. We did other things too. I'm not going to go into all of it. I thought this was about copy. Well, that's them today. They're thriving. Here's what happened. People started driving from the other 2 communities past Lowe's to shop here. They became a heartbeat of a community. That community didn't die. They became the heart of it, and they have functions, and we created a space for people to come and sit and have coffee and talk. We created bucks. We got other merchants involved. The other merchants would give discounts with the bucks, and the other merchants started giving bucks, and they could bring it to the store, and we turned it into a cause. Folks, it doesn't matter if it's an airline, if it's Coca-Cola, if it's a national nonprofit, if it's a little hardware store, if it's you. What I'm telling you works. Do you believe me? I've driven this home because I wanted to make sure you believe that the stuff that you're getting here, not just from me, each and every one of the people who's come here before me the last 2, I got a book of notes myself. This is the real deal if you do what Bernie said and you push that lever. How many of you are going to push some of these levers? Huh? By a show of hands. Come on. You've invested 3 days of your life. This is real. How many of you are going to apply it? How many of you are going to do some of the things that, like Tom talked about? What do I need to be doing? What do I not need to be doing? And start applying them, right? Okay, reason on, oh, millionaire maker. Oh, this last one, promise.
Did they think they could afford you, that little firm that turned into big firm? Did they think they could?
No, but that's really common. It's understanding what ROI is and investment. It's not about cost. My first job, the first thing the president of the company said to me, he put his arm around me after he hired me. He said, son, I want you to remember this. Marketing is in the expense column. Sales is where the money comes from. And it never made sense. And it doesn't make sense. We do drive the economy. We make it happen. They say nothing happens until a sale is made. Nothing happens until somebody says, tell me more. We were sitting in the VIP room. I think Jason even mentioned it, and this couple of young guys came in. We're in there having breakfast. You know, some of you VIPs were in there. They came in and started putting cards down on the table, and then he stood up and started pitching. It's like, there's no tell me more here. And I put my hand on his arm. I said, listen, you know, you might really do better sitting out in the lobby. You know, a lot of people out there who could really use what you've got. And he just kept talking. And then I grabbed his arm and I said, no, you really need to go sit out in the lobby. There's a lot more people out there you need to be talking to. And he finally left. You got to have to tell me more, folks. You got to have that relationship start. You got to have those micro communications. First dates come before second dates. Except in my case, I asked my wife to marry me, and it was before we'd ever had a date, but that's another whole story. 2 weeks later, we did, okay? We had our first date.
A couple of good friends of mine approached me after actually doing something very valuable for me. If I could take a look at the sales letter that they've created for the new and upcoming program. And I said, absolutely yes, I would love to do this. And when I looked at it, I thought it would be a quick read. Well, it wasn't. It was a pretty substantial sales letter. And I had to get back to my friends and I said, sadly, there's nothing I can do for you because the sales letter is so darn good. Now, I had no idea who wrote this sales letter at the time, and it was Emerson Brantley. So if you have a chance to work with this gentleman, he understands the psychology of what it takes to really relate to somebody, grab their attention, have them glued to your sales copy, explain your business in the words that are probably way better than you can ever explain on your own. And at the end, actually have them whip out this thing out of the pocket, the wallet, take the credit card and actually purchase what you are selling. If you want to increase your sales, if you want to make a bigger impact in the world, reach more people through your online and offline copy, then Emerson is your man.
How many of you know Adam Urbanski, millionaire mentor? I was up for Ultimate Marketer at Icon for the ASRAF campaign. And somebody who knew me brought him over to me, and he said, you're Emerson Brantley. I said, yeah. He said, I've been wanting to meet you. I said, well, he said, I'm Adam Urbanski. I said, yeah, I know you. We've never met. But yeah. He turns out he was the coach for a person that I was doing, that I created a program for their first seminar, their first 3-day. We put 45 people in the room at $5,000 a seat. I didn't know this at the time, but what Mark, who was my client, what Mark was doing was passing everything I wrote over to Adam and saying, is this any good? Is this any good? I don't know, is this any good? And anyway, he came up to me, and that's what he said to me. I said, can I get that on video? Yeah, including that part. Yeah, that part. Right? That was, I was like, oh, yeah, do that again. That's what ends up at the end of the tell me more, because now you have trust, and now you have a desire for more than just your free report or your free webinar or whatever your free line is. All right, let's kick into gear. We already talked a little bit about left brain, right brain. The left brain is the analytical brain. That creates the facts that support the decisions in the intuitive brain. Now, here's the thing. People think the analytical, logical brain that's like modern humankind's advancement. Would you like to know the truth? When the predator slime crawled out of the swamp the first time, it had that brain. It's the fight or flight brain. All it can do is fight, and it's going to fight everything you start to make a decision on, because any decision you make is going to create what in your life? Change. And what could change be? And risky. So it's going to fight it until your intuitive brain, and I don't like calling it emotional because that has been used as a weapon for too many years. That intuitive, feeling, empathetic, reasoning brain makes that decision and says, I'm going to do this. Now you tell me why I should. And what happens is there's a switch in there. And that switch makes that analytical brain start giving you the facts that say, well, you know, this and this and this, and it starts telling you, yes, you should. That's what happens. We have to write to that intuitive brain. Have you ever heard the AIDA formula? Anybody? Who's never heard of the AIDA formula? Okay. AIDA. It's so simple, even I can remember this one. Okay. AIDA, you want to get their attention. This is your copy. You've got to give their interest. You've got to create desire, and then you have to drive them or compel them to take action. Y'all missed that. There you go. So it's attention, interest, desire, and action. Our message, our copy, has to do all of these things. Some of it has to do more of one or the other, but it has to do all of these things. So when we are talking to that intuitive brain, I want to be using you language. I want to be talking about you, not you, but those you, the ones you're writing to. You got it? Because that's all they care about, right? That's the what's in it for me, right? That's the what? What's the two words? So what? That's what they're asking you. So what? We have to talk about what it means to them. If you don't tell them what the benefit is to them, they won't figure it out. Or worse, they'll come up with something totally different. How many of you have ever told a joke that didn't go over? Come on. Come on, guys. I have to get you up and have you dance. Come on. How many of you ever told a joke that didn't go over? Yeah. It's all in your... and they're going, guess you had to be there. I don't know, you know. Well, guess what? If people don't get a joke that is so clear to you, do you think you might be writing something that maybe they're not getting to? We have to tell them what it means to them in our copy. Now, what drives their decision? What are some of the why drivers these people have? Why are they going to buy from you? Why should they pay you what you're charging? Why should they make any decision now? Why should they trust you? They've been overpromised and underdelivered their whole life. So we have to answer some of those why drivers. They need to know what the results are going to be in their life. What's the transformation we're going to give them? Will they get more time, more money? Will they get less anxiety, less stress? Will they get better health, better relationships? What are they going to get maybe that's simpler in their life? They're going crazy. What are you going to do that's going to help them? What are the results in their life? That's what we have to tell them. We have to speak to that brain with the benefits, because that's what makes the sale. And we have to tell them the benefits. So I'm going to give you some formulas and some themes. Jason, I had timed it out a little bit longer. With your permission, may I wrap it up? Okay. We're going to have to wrap this up quick, so take pictures. Take pictures, okay? Headline formulas. Here's some headline formulas. I won't spend time going through them. Okay, got that, everybody? How to, ultimate, from to, numbers, guarantees. These are formulas you can use. I have close to 40 pages of things like this, okay? But I have 2 minutes, okay? Got them? All right? 3, 2, 1, changing. If you don't have it, I'll give it to you later. Mark Twain, the difference between the almost right word and the right word is a very large thing. It's the difference between the lightning bug and the lightning. If you get nothing else out of this, get it. Your words matter. Your words matter. Say, my words matter. My words matter. They matter. So, over here, power words. Power words. You, free, now, today, first, guaranteed, are you. These are power words for people. Words that mean and carry energy with them. They carry energy. And these are words that when people get them, that you're conveying that energy. All right? 3, 2, 1, and. Transformational words. These are words that transport them to the place that they want. It gives them what the results are going to mean for them. It shows them the future picture. You can call it future pacing, whatever you want. They put themselves into this picture. It transforms them. And now I have them because they're feeling it. It's intuitive at this point. They feel the difference in their life. These are the kinds of words that you need to be thinking and looking and editing and playing with in your copy. So, what if? I'm going to say, skip the what if. What if all of this stuff worked for you and you had an unlimited budget and all those other wonderful what if things, okay? Skipping past that. Yes, I have an offer. And yes, I'm going to make this where you can have something you can work with. And yes, it's going to be, all the other stuff, okay? Ultimate influence and profit. I call this the copywriting shortcut. Jumpstart. I've pulled different pieces together from programs that I had, and this is the first time I've ever put this up. For you, for this group. Finding your uniqueness. This is a 6-step process. It's not just a UVP formula, a unique value proposition. It's figuring out your true uniqueness to your market. And then an over-the-shoulder copywriting experience where you literally go through and hear my brain as we're going through writing a long-form copy. And Guerrilla Marketing Copywriting Hacks. That's a book with roughly 40 pages or so of themes, of formulas, of different types of words. There's so many different types of words that you can take and use and plug and change and switch until you get that message so on target that they resonate with you. Because that's what we want, is to connect with people. And I also added in unlimited free publicity, and that's one that I've sold simply by itself because it's how I've gotten up to 3,000 media events in a single weekend. Don't have time to tell you that one, okay? But I want you to implement it. So if any of you decide to do this, I'm going to make it a very special offer. I'm going to give you a half-hour one-on-one strategy session. I don't give those away. But I'm going to give it to you. 90-day marketing, I call it the Genius Group Coaching, and Marketing Mastery. It's a video coaching. They're vignettes, 1 to 5-minute vignettes, where I'm in a moment and I'm talking about something specific that will help you in your marketing. Now, I can add the total. There you go, $7,500, blank, 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 throw the X through, your risk-free investment today, la, 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 $9,997. Come on now. Full guarantee, trust me on this one, okay? And I have something very special, though, and I've cleared this with Jeannie and with Jason. Jay and Jeannie put together a scholarship fund a few years back. It's called the J. Conrad Levinson Scholarship Fund, and it's to help students who don't have the means to get the kind of training that you're getting. Students who have they have the potential and they want it, but they don't have the means to do it. So what I'd like you to do is to consider the value that this will bring to you. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to prove it. If you don't get it, you don't get it. If you will make a donation of any size, no honor system, get with Jeannie, make a donation of any size to pay it forward, the advantages that you've had with the training that you've gotten, pay it forward and live this legacy for someone else. Then I'll knock an additional $400 off. And this is real, and if I'm lying, I'm dying. I've never put this slide up before. Any size, you do that, and the package is yours. Now, I'm going to make one other offer, and I don't have a slide for this. Any of you who really step up to the pump and you make a donation of that difference, that $400 savings or more, you come get me. And I'm going to also give you a complete SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We charge $2,500 for the report, but the report is just a report, and I will also give you another one-on-one consultation to walk you through it and give you the action steps that you need. Like I said, there's no slide for this. You get with Jeannie. It'll be available at the back, and I'll answer any questions that you have here or on the next break. And forget all of this. The biggest thing is this isn't for you if that's what you think marketing strategy is, okay? That's the biggest thing. The biggest takeaway is it is for you if you're ready to make these kinds of changes in your message to your market so there's a match. I'll be in the back for you.